Let's begin in a comfortable seat, cross-legged position. Hi, good morning, welcome. So we're starting in a comfortable cross-legged position, allowing the top of the head to reach up towards the ceiling. Shoulders soften down. You might even just rock a little bit side to side as you start to root on the ground. Your hands can rest wherever is most comfortable. You might take a gaze out in front of you on a non-moving point. You might let your eyes come to close. From here, let's begin to collect any pieces of energy that might still be wandering, perhaps energetically, mentally. Visualizing all of your energy coming back within your body. Giving yourself permission to arrive in your practice wholly, fully, so that you can be fully present. Bring awareness to your breath. You don't have to change the breath, just notice how you are breathing. Noticing the areas of the body that expand and contract with each breath. Let's take a moment to do a full body scan, starting from the very top of the head, maybe visualizing a beam or an orb of light, any color of your choice, illuminating the areas within the mind, physical body, emotional body. Using the scan as a way to notice and bring awareness to yourself. As your body scan is complete, we'll place our palms to touch in front of the heart. Start to rub your hands back and forth, creating some heat. And once you feel some nice warmth between your hands, intuitively place your hands somewhere on your body. You might hold the hands in stillness, or maybe you find some gentle massage. And take notice of where you placed your hands. Maybe why you placed your hands in that spot. We'll bring our palms to touch again in front of the heart, rubbing the hands back and forth. And then once you've created some heat, again, place your hands somewhere. It could be the same spot, it might be a different spot. We'll bring the hands to touch again in front of the heart, slight tuck of the chin. I invite you to set an intention for your practice. This intention might be a phrase, it might be a single word, it could be a color or a feeling. Your intention is something that you come back to throughout your practice and maybe even throughout your day or your week. What do you want to focus on? Once you have your intention, offer yourself a full breath in through the nose and a sweet breath out through the mouth. Release your hands into your lap. We're gonna swap out the leg that's in front. Plant your hands on top of your thighs or your knees. We're gonna take a full breath in as we draw our chest from knee to knee. And then a full breath out as you round through the spine to complete that circle. Full circles with the body. Breathing in as you rock forward, out as you rock backward. Move mindfully and gently here. Let your breath guide you in your movements. And as a reminder, as you move throughout practice, move in ways that feel safe and supportive for your body. That's not to say you won't experience challenges or discomfort. Just make sure that you are listening to deeply and honoring your body and where you are today. Let's take these circles in the opposite direction, continuing to pair the breath with movement. If at any point throughout this practice you need to take a different modification or take a break, you're welcome to do that. Start to unwind from these circles, making them smaller and smaller until you arrive at a still spine. We'll draw our legs straight out in front, nice and long on the ground. You might place something for support underneath the legs. Maybe rock side to side again, allowing yourself to arrive firmly on the ground. We'll sweep the arms overhead with a full breath in. We'll pivot forward from the hips as we exhale. Go ahead and grab onto your ankles, shins, or feet. As you inhale, lift your chest forward. And as you exhale, fully soften down towards your legs. Let everything release. As you're ready to breathe in, rise up, hands overhead. Exhale, shift down. Grab onto shins, ankles, or feet. Inhale, open the chest. Shoulders start to round back very subtly. Exhale, soften down. Inhale, lengthen. Hands reach up towards the sky. Exhale, shift down and forward. Inhale to open the chest. And soften as you exhale. Keep moving for 3 more rounds with your own breath. Go ahead and rise up. Release your hands at your sides. Make your way onto hands and knees. Offer yourself some support beneath the knees if you need it. Maybe by placing a blanket or a towel or even folding the mat a little bit for some extra cushion. Check in with your alignment, shoulders above wrists, hips above knees. With the eyes closed or soft, start to move intuitively. So just moving in any way that the body wants to move. And we'll come back to stillness in tabletop. We'll drop our belly towards the floor, look up either in front of you or up towards the ceiling, as long as that feels okay for your head and neck. Press through your palms, full rep in cow. As you exhale, tuck your tailbone and chin towards the collarbone, hollow out the belly, press through the palms, maybe even press through the tops of your feet. Inhale to drop into cow. Exhale to round into cat. 3 more rounds with your own breath. Come back to tabletop. Curl your toes under. Walk your hands towards your knees. Start to sink back towards your heels. See what kind of sensation you need here. If this is enough sensation with the hands connected to the ground, stay there. If you want more sensation, walk your hands onto your thighs. Option to explore the wrists and arms by turning the fingers in if your hands are connected to the ground, or even turning them out and back towards your knees. Maybe you even want to explore the neck a little bit here, tracing your chin from shoulder to shoulder. If you're in an upright position, you can circle out the wrists. Trace your chin from shoulder to shoulder. Come out of the toe squat as you need to. Coming back in as you're ready. We'll walk our hands forward, shifting into tabletop. Tap out the tops of your feet. Pause for a moment in stillness. Notice what sensations arise. And then as you're ready, curl your toes under, shift your hips back towards your heels. Offer yourself whatever variations you want to for the upper body. And most importantly, feel your breath. Shift yourself into tabletop, tap out your feet. Pause for a moment and feel. Curl your toes under. We're gonna pull our knees away from the mat as we draw the hips up towards the ceiling, downward facing dog. Walk your hands forward a step or two. Find some movement for your feet. Looking towards your toes. With a full breath in, we'll come into three-legged dog, reaching the right foot up towards the ceiling. With your exhale, bend your right knee, guide it towards your face. Inhale, reach your foot to the sky. Exhale, knee to nose. Always moving with your own breath. Inhale, reach your foot up to the sky. And then bend through both knees, guide your right foot between your hands. Step your back leg back, back foot back a little bit, offering some length for the left leg. And then rooting your left hand onto the ground or onto a block. We're gonna open the right fingers up towards the sky. Look towards the ceiling. Maybe you stay here in stillness, or maybe you find some circles for your right arm. Finding some nice rotation for the shoulder. Full breath in, reach the right fingers high. Exhale as you release that hand onto the ground. We're gonna plant the back knee, coming into a low supported lunge. Release the back toes. Press through the right foot as you rise up. Check in with your stability and foundation. Make sure you feel nice and sturdy. Adjust as you need to. Reach the hands high with a full breath in. Draw your navel towards your spine. We're gonna cactus the arms, so bending the elbows, creating a 90-degree angle for the arms. Fingers are up towards the ceiling. Gentle heart opener here. As you inhale, reach your hands high. Exhale, cactus the arms. Inhale, reach your hands high. As you exhale, release your hands behind your low back. Interlace your fingers, squeeze your shoulder blades. Feel the chest open. You're welcome to stay here, or you could shift forward from your hips as you draw your right shoulder on top of your right knee. Feel your breath. Carefully release your hands onto the ground, planting your right hand on the inside of your right foot so you can gently swing it back into tabletop. Curl your toes under, come into downward facing dog. Feel your breath. Find some movement for your feet and legs. Full breath in as you reach the left foot up towards the ceiling. Exhale, knee to nose. Inhale, lengthen. Knee to nose. One last time, find length on your in-breath. Offer a generous bend through both knees. As you exhale, your left foot between your hands. Adjust your back foot and leg. Plant your right hand on the ground or on your block. Open the left hand up towards the ceiling. And then choose stillness or movement for this side. With a breath in, reach your left fingers high. And release that hand onto the ground. Back knee comes to the mat. Untuck the back toes. As you're ready, rise up. Low supported lunge. Reach your hands high, full breath in. Exhale, cactus the arms. Inhale, reach your hands. Cactus arms. Full breath in. And release your hands behind your low back. Squeeze your shoulder blades with the fingers interlaced. Option to stay here or guide your left shoulder on top of your left thigh. Full breaths. Gently release your hands to the mat. Left hand comes on the inside of the left foot. Carefully swing it back into tabletop. Let's take 2 rounds of cat and cow here, dropping the belly, lifting the gaze, pressing through the palms. Exhale to round into cat. One more time at your own pace. Come back to tabletop, curl your toes under, lift your hips, downward facing dog. With a full breath in, kick your right foot up towards the ceiling. As you exhale, bend through both knees, step your right foot between your hands. Carefully lower your back knee onto the ground. When you're ready, rise. Draw your navel towards your spine, feeling some engagement in the belly. Reach your hands high. Full breath in. Exhale to open your hands out to a T. Take another full breath in here. You're welcome to stay here with your breath or twist towards the right. Option to stay here for a couple of breaths or draw your left hand up towards the ceiling, right hand to the back of the left thigh. Maybe your gaze looks up towards your left middle finger. We'll guide the hands back to parallel, unwinding the torso. Reach your hands high, full breath in. Exhale, plant your hands, keeping the right hand on the inside of the right foot. Tabletop. Curl your toes under, down dog. Feel your breath. Inhale, left foot goes high. 3-legged dog. Exhale, bend through both knees. Step your left foot between your hands. Gently plant your back knee. Rise up, low supported lunge. Navel to spine. Inhale, hands reach high. Exhale, open the arms out to a T. Full breath in. Once again, option to stay here. You could keep drawing your hands up towards the ceiling and out to a T, or you can twist towards the left. Once again, option to stay in this twist or guide your right hand up towards the ceiling. Left hand gently rests on the back of the right thigh. Guide yourself back to center. Reach your hands high. We'll fold over the front leg. Plant your hands. This time the left hand can be on the outside of the left foot. Curl your toes under and step forward. Forward fold. Offer yourself a gentle release for your back and your legs. Let your neck be soft and heavy. Option to just let your hands and arms dangle and rest. Maybe you take ragdoll arms with your hands on opposite elbows. Ever so slowly and mindfully begin to rise up from your sacrum, the base of your spine. Slowly making your way to standing. Allowing the neck and the head to be the last to arrive. Once you arrive in mountain, go ahead and offer some movement for your shoulders. Maybe taking circles in unison or alternating the shoulders. Let's sweep the hands overhead, taking a steeple grip with the hands, keeping the pointers extended. Maybe the thumbs are extended as well. The other fingers are interlaced. We're going to reach our hands up towards the ceiling and gently bend towards the right. Feeling a nice stretch along the left side of the body. Rise back up to center. Gentle bend to the left. Back to center. Let's once again bend towards the right. Feel your full breath. Come to center. One last time, we'll bend to the left. And back to neutral. Release your arms. Plant your right foot in the upper right portion of your mat. Step your left foot back. We're going to take that back foot so that it's parallel with the back edge of the mat, coming into our warrior two shape. Hips are as best as we can squared towards the long edge of the mat. Check in with your front knee, making sure that it's above its ankle. Arms are parallel to the ground. Let's flip the palms up. On an inhale, we'll straighten through the front leg, guide the hands towards one another. Maybe you even look up towards your hands. Exhale, re-bend through the front knee, warrior two, arms are parallel to the ground. Inhale, straighten the front leg, hands reach towards each other. Keep moving with your own breath, following this gentle flow. Allowing your breath to guide you. With your arms above the ground in warrior two, your front knee is bent. Let's flip the palms towards the ground. Straighten through the front leg, and this time we're gonna guide the right hand up towards the ceiling, gently resting the left hand on the back of the left thigh. Rebend through the front leg, warrior two. We're gonna reach the right fingers forward, sliding out of our hips as we lift the left fingers up towards the ceiling. You might gently rest your right arm on your right thigh, or maybe you reach down towards the ground. Come back to warrior two. Balancing on the heel, pivot your toes in towards the length of the mat. And from here, we're going to shift forward from the hips, planting the hands onto the ground. Adjust your stance as you need to, maybe bringing the feet a little closer together or maybe even further apart. You could also use a block for this next part if you want to. So we're going to plant the left hand, open the right hand up towards the ceiling, full breath in. Maybe the head follows the hand. We're going to release the right hand onto the ground, plant it. You can also plant your hand on a block. Lift the left fingers up towards the ceiling. Exhale, release that hand down to the ground. Inhale, right fingers reach towards the ceiling. And exhale, release that hand. Keep moving with your breath. You're welcome to be in stillness in this wide-legged forward fold if you would like to. Let's replant both hands. Offer a gentle release for the neck and the head, letting the head hang heavy. Pressing through the palms, maybe offering a gentle bend through the knees. We're gonna walk our hands to the top of the mat and then step your foot back into down dog. Move the feet and the legs. And then taking a nice bend through both knees, start to walk your feet up towards your hands, coming into a forward fold. Mindfully begin to rise up from the base of your spine, coming into standing. Planting your left foot in the upper left corner of your mat, step your right foot back, coming into warrior two on this side. Take your time setting up your stance and foundation, making sure that you feel sturdy. Once again, we're going to try to pull that right hip back, left hip forward so that we're drawing the hips even towards the side. Arms are parallel to the ground, flip the palms up. With an inhale, straighten through the front leg, guide the palms together overhead. Exhale, warrior two. Inhale, lengthen through the front leg, hands reach towards each other. Keep moving with your own breath. Come back to warrior two. Straighten through the front leg as you guide the left hand high. Right hand gently rests on the back of the right thigh. Full breath in. Full breath out. Offer yourself one more round of breath. Come back to warrior two. Reach your left fingers forward as you guide your right hand overhead. Offer yourself whatever variation you want to for the left arm or hand. Feel your breath along the whole right side of your body, from the right middle finger all the way down to your right foot. Rise back up to warrior two. We're gonna bring the toes in the same direction as the right toes, and then shift down into your wide-legged forward fold. Yogi's choice here for what you would like to do with the hands. You could keep them connected to the ground. You could take your hands to the outsides of your ankles. You could take your pointer and middle fingers and wrap them around your big toes. You want a little bit more of a heart opener, reach your hands behind your back, interlace your fingers, squeeze your shoulder blades. Replant your hands. Walk your hands to the top of the mat. Step back into down dog. Find some movement for your feet and legs. Carefully lower your knees onto the ground. Take your knees to the width of your mat, or just take them nice and wide with the big toes touching. Start to sink your hips back towards your feet. Walk your hands forward and then lower your temples or your forehead onto the ground or onto a block. You can always place something like a towel or blanket behind the thighs on top of the calves if you need a little extra support there. Start to find stillness. If this position feels nourishing and comforting, you're welcome to stay here. If you want to offer yourself a little bit of a twist, you can press through the palms, start to walk your hands in just a little bit towards your body. And then we'll take this right hand and thread our arm behind our left arm. So keeping the same foundation with the legs, letting the right shoulder soften onto the ground. So just doing a gentle thread the needle in this child's pose. Maybe you walk the left hand forward or gently drape it over your low back. If you took the thread the needle variation, press through the left palm, release your right arm and hand. It might feel nice to reach the right hand up towards the ceiling. And then as you're ready, we'll thread the left arm behind the right arm. Find your variation for that right arm and hand. Replant your right hand if you're in thread the needle. Press up. Reach the left fingers high. Release that hand to the ground and then walk your hands forward, finding 2 more breaths in our wide-legged child's pose. Press yourself into tabletop. And then intuitively find some movement. It might feel nice to sway the hips side to side. Make your way into a seat. We'll extend our legs long on the ground. We're setting up for shoelace or half shoelace. So we're going to take our right foot, cross it over the left thigh, and we're going to bring it near the outside of the left hip. So depending on where your hip and leg are at today, that foot could be a little bit further away from the hip. You might place something, if you're going to stay in this half shoelace, you might place something underneath the extended leg for some extra support. So before we head into a full shoelace, let's just check in with sensation here. With the bottom leg extended, you might notice more sensation along the back side of that leg. Versus the full version, you'll feel more sensation in the outsides of the hips. See what it is that you want here for sensation. You might draw your left heel to the outside of your right hip. Some discomfort might arise here. Just make sure that it's not pain, that you're not forcing yourself to be in a position that is too uncomfortable. You might offer yourself the variation of eagle arms for the upper body. So taking the arms straight out in front, crossing the right arm over the left at the elbow, and then drawing the hands up towards the ceiling. Maybe keeping the hands there or seeing if you can bring the palms together. And then press the elbows down and away from your body. So we typically think of heart openers as opening up the chest, but the heart resides within the body, and although we typically think of the heart as in the front, it's also in the back. So this technically could be considered a heart opener. And the heart at the back of the body is where we receive. You might ask yourself, how do I receive love? We'll carefully unwind from eagle arms, releasing the hands at the sides. Maybe you shrug out the shoulders. It might feel nice to draw the left ear to the left shoulder. Finding subtle movement with the chin. Let's guide the head back into a neutral position. Mindfully unwind the legs. We'll plant both feet with the knees up. And then plant your hands on the ground behind you as you very gently sway your knees from side to side. As you are ready, extend your right leg long, crossing your left heel to the outside of your right hip. Once again, tuning into what this feels like. See if there's any support that you could use here, or if you are wanting more sensation, draw your right heel to the outside of your left hip. Make sure that whatever variation you are in, you can stay with your breath. You're not forcing yourself. Check in with your eyes and your jaw. If you took eagle arms on the other side, go ahead and reach your arms, cross your left arm over the right arm. Press your elbows down and away. You're always welcome, if you need more sensation, to start to guide the upper body down towards the legs. Unwind your arms. Find some movement for your shoulders. It might feel nice to draw the right ear to the right shoulder. Mindfully explore the left side of the neck. Guide your head back to neutral. Plant your hands on the ground behind you. Unwind your legs. Plant your feet. Ever so gently sway your knees from side to side. Let's extend our legs long on the ground. We'll just come into a brief seated forward fold, guiding your torso over your legs, softening down. Any amount is fine where you're feeling some sensation. Begin to rise back up. And then we're going to be heading onto our backs, but before we do, we're going to come into a supported fish. So if you have blocks, you can grab those. If you have a bolster, even better. I prefer to take fish with a bolster. So if you have a bolster or a cushion that is something like this, you could take it vertically, or you could even take it horizontally, so that it's underneath your upper back. If you take it vertically, you'll just snug your sacrum up to the cushion and lower onto it. If you have blocks, there's a few options with those as well. Sometimes you could take 2 blocks on the lowest setting vertically. You could also take a block horizontally on the low setting behind your shoulder blades, and then use the other block for your head. There's a lot of different variations. Work with what you have. If you don't have blocks, that's okay. You can just come onto your back. You could also take a blanket or a towel and roll that up, placing it underneath your shoulder blades. Make sure that whatever variation you take, that you are somewhat comfortable. This is a more restful position, so you want to make sure that you feel supported. Your choice for the leg variation here, you could keep your feet planted with your knees up. It might feel nice for a little bit of internal hip rotation to walk the feet out at the sides, allowing the knees to kind of cave in towards each other. You could also take butterfly with the feet for a deeper back bend. Draw the legs out long. There's a lot of options for this position. Bring awareness to your breath. Offer yourself 5 full conscious breaths. You might release your jaw and let out an audible sigh or breath with each exhale. To come out of this pose, you might roll over to one side, relying on your forearm to lift you out, or maybe you engage in the muscles of the front body to lift yourself away. Move your props out at the side. We're going to set up for the final resting pose, Shavasana. You might come into a traditional corpse pose on your back. And you're always welcome to take Shavasana in any pose that feels nourishing and restful for you. Offer yourself any props for comfort or support. Grabbing any items for warmth. Offer yourself recognition for the work that you have done. And give yourself permission to rest. As the mind starts to wander or get distracted, you can simply just notice it. Maybe choose to come back to your breath or your intention. You'll hear my voice again when it is time to reawaken. In the willingness to feel, there is healing. In the choice not to closet, cast aside, or deny experience, energy is freed, and I dive deeper into life. There may be maturity in choosing not to act, but there are no rewards for suppression and denial. To be fully alive is saying yes to the wide array of human feelings. When I soften, release, and breathe, I discover I am more than what I think, feel, reason, or believe. Bring your awareness to your breath. You're welcome to stay here resting as we close class if you would like to. Otherwise, start to move gently into fingers and toes, hands and feet. You might choose to offer yourself a full body stretch or roll over into the fetal position, slowly making your way into a comfortable seat. Allow your eyes to remain soft or closed just for a few moments longer so you can stay within your inner world. We'll place one hand over the heart and one hand over the belly. Feeling connection to self. Bring your palms to touch in front of your heart. Bring to mind a person or a group of people. This could be yourself. This could be people that you know. This could be people that you don't know. Bring to mind someone who you want to send love, compassion, gratitude, or forgiveness to. We'll raise the thumbs to the third eye, the center of the forehead, to honor kind and compassionate thoughts and creativity. Lowering the thumbs to the mouth to honor kind and compassionate truth and speech. Lowering the thumbs to the heart to honor kind and compassionate action and wisdom. Thank you for sharing your practice with me. The light within me sees and appreciates the light within you. Namaste.